Chelsea fans, after that much needed 3-1 win over Wolves Monday night, we now shift our attention to the Premier League. Manchester City host Chelsea Saturday the 25th of January, 5:30 PM kickoff at the Etihad Stadium, and this is a 6-pointer. With chaos always around Chelsea Football Club, with players being injured and players leaving the club during this January transfer window, there also seems to be a curse over the Manchester City fixture. Chelsea are yet to beat Pep Guardiola's Manchester City team since the 1-0 victory in the Champions League final in 2021. So in this video, I'm asking one question: can Enzo Maresca lift the curse for Manchester City versus Chelsea? Not only that, I'm also going to be covering the latest Chelsea news and predicting Chelsea's starting 11. Did you know that 90% of the people watching this video right now are currently not subscribed to the channel? So make sure you leave a like and subscribe if you're a Chelsea fan who enjoys Chelsea content. Make sure you join the community, and let's get into the video. So let's kick things off with the latest Chelsea news. Ben Jacobs has reported that Chelsea are open to listening to offers for João Felix. Matt Law has reported it is anticipated that Romeo Lavia will be missing for weeks. Sky Sports have reported that Chelsea are demanding at least £70 million before allowing Christopher Nkunku to join Bayern Munich. The Athletic have reported the initial indications are that Enzo Fernandez will be out for 2 weeks at the most, but Romeo Lavia will be out for a lot longer. Sky Sports have also reported that Chelsea are one of 3 Premier League clubs monitoring Tyler Dibbling. Southampton have set a £55 million price tag for this month. Fabrizio Romano has reported that Garnacho is a concrete possibility. Chelsea are really considering making a bid. Value is at £60 million. Chelsea can make a bid in the next hours or days. Let's see. He goes on to report exclusive: Juventus agreed deal for Chelsea to sign Renato Vega. Here we go. Loan deal for €5 million until June. No buy option clause. And then the player back to Chelsea at the end of June for Clubs World Cup. Vega is expected to play as a centre-back at Juventus. The Athletic also report that Chelsea are looking to sign an established centre-back in the summer. And lastly, Damasio has reported that Chelsea are pushing to sign Verona midfielder Reda Belayim to replace Cesar Casadei. It seems like Chelsea are in a bit of a crisis right now. We have just let Renato Vega go out on loan when we need cover for that holding 6 role or potentially at left-back. And when it comes to Christopher Nkunku, slapping a £70 million price tag is going to do one of 2 things. Either 1, we're going to make a lot of money, or 2, it's a big deterrent for Bayern Munich. Not only that, but we are still willing to listen to João Felix offers, considering he's only been here 6 months. Yes, I know his playing time has been limited, but he's played well every time he's got the opportunity. The thing that really baffles me about Chelsea right now is we are in need of 6s. So we've got Ugachukwu and Santos who can play that role out on loan, and we don't want to recall them. And we're also looking at other midfielders that can come in and play that position. It genuinely doesn't make any sense. And the worst news of all is Enzo Fernandez is out for the next 2 weeks and Romeo Lavia out for even longer. These are 2 massive players for this Chelsea system to make it work with Enzo Maresca's system, especially going up against Manchester City without either of these players. I'm an optimistic fan, but I'm not feeling good about this game. Now, I'm an optimistic fan, and I do feel like we can get a result, whether it's a draw or even a lucky win, because we seem to step up against bigger teams. But I'm going into the game very nervous because we're without some key players. Manchester City have just turned their form around, and yes, Chelsea have just got their first win in the last 5 or 6, but is that going to be enough to face Man City and actually get a result? And with this curse over Pep Guardiola's men since the Champions League final, it looks like it's going to be an uphill battle. But that's enough of the Chelsea news. Let's get into predicting the Chelsea starting 11. Now, when it comes to the starting 11 to play Manchester City at the Etihad, like I keep mentioning, there seems to be this curse that we've not beat Pep Guardiola's men at all since the Champions League final, which is quite scary, for being honest. And also with the injuries and the transfer window and things, you know, people leaving, we're not looking to get anyone in, or at least it's the way it seems right now with the last few weeks of January. Just not going into this game feeling confident. Now, one thing I do know over the years and years of supporting Chelsea and the quarter of a century of supporting this club, Chelsea step up in big games when it's needed. So I feel confident in that sense that we can go to Man City and play well. Whether we get a result or not is a completely different story. So let's get into this predicted 11. Unfortunately, Robert Sanchez is suspended because of bookings, I believe, which means our goalkeeper is Jorgensen. Now, for a lot of people, we're going to be very happy with Jorgensen in goal, myself included. Feel like he's just a better player than Sanchez, especially in the distribution front. Yes, Sanchez can be a good shot stopper, but the mistakes after mistakes is ridiculous. So Jorgensen, He's got a big game. He's got to come in away at the Etihad, which is a tough place for us to go historically, especially in the last few years, and put in a shift and a good game. And coming up against the likes of Haaland and all the other players of City is going to be a big ask. But I feel confident that Jorgensen can actually have a good performance, and not make any silly mistakes like Sanchez. At least let's hope. When we go on to the left back, you've got one man for the job, and that is Cucurella. Cucurella, I will say this every week. I say this in every video that is a preview. Like, he's just one of the best left backs in the league. When he is playing well, Chelsea play phenomenal. And even when he's not playing well, we can still kind of not make any silly mistakes at the back. It's very rare that he gets caught out. And if he does, normally we have some players in and around to kind of get him out of that hole. But it happens less and less often than it did when he first started at Chelsea. Now, with the centre-back pairings, this is where it gets interesting. Since recording this video, I haven't heard any news on Levi Colwill. Don't know if he's still back. Don't know if he's out. It'll probably be announced in the press conference on Friday. This is being uploaded on a Thursday. But if I'm being honest, I really liked the centre-back pairing of Tosin and Chalobah. I think it was absolutely phenomenal. So for me, I am going to put Chalobah in here because he was awesome on his return. Should have got that goal. Unfortunately, Mabueke nicked it, got over the line. A lot of people took that a bit too much to heart as well. But Chalobah had a very solid performance. He slid in perfectly, fits into this system. He was just so cool, calm and collected and confident. The amount of blocks he made and the decisive tackles, and he didn't give away too many silly fouls either. It's just a breath of fresh air as someone with experience in the Premier League, someone who's won the Champions League, the Club World Cup, the Super Cup with us. Played under people like Thomas Tuchel in these different systems. It's just a breath of fresh air to have someone in that back line. Now, if he is fit, I can see Levi Colwill playing with him. If he is not, then I see potentially Tosin again. So I'm going to go with Levi Colwill for the sake of him maybe being fit, being announced after this video has actually gone live. So I'm really interested to see how a Colwill-Chalobah defensive pairing goes. I think that would be absolutely insane if it done right. Now, going on to right back, it's got to be Mr. Reece James. If he's fit, ready and available, we put him in the team. Now, in the last few previews and the last few videos on my TikTok when I'm talking about the team, I have said I'd rather him come on the second half and play someone like Gusto or Ashimpong, just to make sure we can really balance Reece James's minutes, keep him as fit as possible for as long as possible. However, that changed after the Wolves game because he got 75 minutes and played a very good game defensively and offensively. He was just Reece James being Reece James. So if he can keep that consistency, stay fit, hopefully get to another 75-minute, 80-minute mark, then this could be a good sort of stepping stone in his road for recovery in terms of staying fit for Chelsea. So we'll go with Reece James. And I look at that back four and think, ooh, that's cooking. You've got Cucurella, Colwill, Chalobah and Reece James. That is solid if they all turn up and perform on the day. When it comes to the 2-6 roles, we know obviously one's going to push forward. This is where I scratch my head a little bit because obviously we know that Moises Caicedo is going to play. That guy's got an engine and we are praying that nothing happens to him because if he goes, we are absolutely cooked. So we're going to put Moises Caicedo in there for sure. Now, to partner him, we've got no Romeo Lavia. Big miss, but we know that he's rather injury prone. We've got no Enzo Fernandez. He makes this team tick going forward and linking up between the midfield and that final third play. So the only people we have is Raksachi, who I think is a great holding midfielder who can progress, but I don't think he is ready to play a team like Man City in the Premier League. We also have the likes of KDH. I think KDH had an okay game against Wolves. A lot of people come out and slandered him and just gave him a hurled abuse at him for literally no reason. Defensively, yes, he wasn't great, and that's not really his main role. But going forward and connecting the play, he put some unbelievable crosses in the box early in the game. He's trying to link up the ball, link up the play well. I think he wasn't amazing, but I don't think he was bad. I think he had an okay game. He slotted into that role rather nicely, really, when you think about it. We don't have anyone else that can play there unless you're playing someone else out of position, potentially Cassidy. Again, I don't think he's ready for the Premier League. Now, you could argue Renato Vega could play there, but guess what? We have just loaned him out to Juventus because he wants to play centre-back. He's then going to go play centre-back for Juventus until the end of the season. So we have essentially weakened our squad in this window and not strengthened it in any way, really. So the only option we've got is KDH. Which, again, he's got to be on his A game, man. He's got to be on his A game because that's going to be the weak link for us in midfield. Caicedo is Caicedo. He's one of the best DMs in the league, if not the best, really. When he's just playing so consistently. When it comes to KDH, mate, honestly, I just pray he has a good game. I'm not saying he's a bad player. A lot of people are confused as to why we signed him. And I understand that thought process. I think he is a good player. but I don't think he's near the standards we need him to be. Yes, he's had limited minutes. It kind of goes against him a little bit. He's not had a good run in the team, but he has showed glimpses of what he can do. So let's hope that if he plays against City in that 6 role, he will be pushing forward into that advanced 8 as he does in an Enzo Maresca system. Let's hope that he can play very, very well. When it comes to the front three, I think it's pretty self-explanatory from my opinion anyway, but you could have some changes here. Me personally, facing a team like City, very systematic, the masters of the whole inverting and all that sort of stuff. Pep Guardiola, the master tactician, one of the greatest managers ever, really, when you think about it. Who do we play on the wings? For me personally, I would go Sancho on that left. Someone who's technically gifted, very suave on the ball, picks his pass very, very well every time, consistently picking the right pass. Yes, he doesn't shoot as much, but he's always looking for that space. You could argue you could play someone like João Felix out on that left-hand side as well, and he could drift in and Cucurella can kind of overlap and overload on that side. And then you could have the likes of Palmer or Nkunku with Felix in the midfield in that sort of 10 role. I think that could work, and that could be a potential option, but I honestly think you've got to start Jadon Sancho. I think Pedro Neto didn't really perform too well against Wolves. He put in a lot of legwork in terms of running, but in terms of, productivity and things like that, he was trying to make things happen, but nothing really came off for him, and he was the quieter of our 2 wingers. So I'm going to go with Sancho, because when he came on, he actually changed the dynamic straight away. The link-up play between Cucurella and Palmer is fantastic, that little triangle that they've got going on. And even going forward with Jackson, trying to put different types of ball into him for service. I really like Jadon Sancho. So I'm hoping that he starts on that left-hand side. Obviously, in the 10 role is Cole Palmer. The only way he wouldn't play is if he's not fit. And that's purely because he had a bit of a knock before the Wolves game. He was a bit of a doubt. He still played. Enzo Maresca has played a very dangerous game, because if he got injured in the Wolves game and he misses this is one of the biggest games of the season for us. City are breathing down our necks. This is a 6-pointer. We need to break this curse and get a result against City. If we can make that happen, that would make my season, because we have not seen Chelsea get a result against City since the Champions League final, which is getting further and further away in terms of how present it was. So hopefully Palmer's fit, ready and available and raring to go to face his former club and hopefully bag a goal or get a couple of assists. Now, when it comes to the right wing, you could argue that Pedro Neto could come in and start. But like I said, I don't think he performed very, very well, or particularly well, in the last game against Wolves. I'm going to go Noni Madueke, because regardless, if you like it or not, he scored a goal. Whether he stole it off the line or whatever, he got a goal, right? And I think he got like a pre-assist in the second goal against Wolves. He's putting some very good deliveries, and he was beating his man time and time again, getting to that byline, trying to create something consistently. He is the type of winger that I know divides this fan base. He frustrates me at times, don't get me wrong, right? I'm not saying he's perfect, he's far from it. But I like him because he's a traditional winger. High and wide, beat your man time and time again, and try and create something down on that byline, get something in the box. And that's exactly what he does. He's just very unlucky, in my opinion, that he doesn't have more assists based on no one converting the chances he creates. And that could be said something to do with the number 9 that we have, which is Nicholas Jackson. In terms of the runs he makes, etc., not finishing the ones that he gets to, and obviously not getting to the ones that he should be getting to. I think it's an amalgamation of things, but I would say Noni Madueke in a game against City would be very, very good. I like that front three. I think that'd be amazing. Very technically gifted. And obviously, when it comes to the number 9, it's either Nkunku or Nicholas Jackson, and I don't think we could get away with playing Nkunku against City, purely because of the style of play that they have. And even if we was to kind of have that false 9, it's going to really, and he drops back, it's really going to crowd the likes of Sancho, Madueke and Palmer, and then Dewsbury Hall pushing up from the 6 to the 8 role. So I think you're going to have to go for someone like Nicholas Jackson, purely because he's an out-and-out sort of forward in terms of, I'm not saying like natural ability, we know that he was a converted winger, but I mean, he's going to stay high, he's going to stay on that back line and hopefully get on the end of some things. And let's just hope that Jackson can get on the score sheet, because it's becoming a bit of a long stretch of him not scoring. I don't mind if he gets an assist, that's contributing, that's something positive for the team, that ends up in that 0 turning to a 1 or a 1 turning to a 2, etc. But let's just hope Jackson can have a very good game, press high like he does, and get a goal contribution in some way, shape or form, or even be part of the play that leads to a goal. His all-round play is great. It's just the finishing that needs to improve, and that's the thing that's really lacked in the last, 5-6 games-ish, we've really seen a decline in it. And he started the season so well. I still back him to get 20 league goals by the end of the season. And as the season goes on, it makes me look more and more of a crazy person. But I genuinely think he's capable of it. I think if he starts taking his chances, all of a sudden them goals are going to rack up. He's on 9 Premier League goals. At the end of January now, he's been on 9 Premier League goals, I think, since middle of December. So I'm a bit like, come on now. I want him to beat last year's return of 14 as a minimum. But yeah, let's play Jackson and let's just see what happens. Obviously, we do have the likes of Nkunku. His body language in recent games seems like he just don't want to be here, and the dynamic he gives us, I think it completely cuts off the head of our attack because he just plays such a different style of football and he's naturally more of a 10. So, yeah, and we don't really have, I don't think you're going to be playing Guiu against Man City. As much as that'd be awesome for him as an 18-year-old, there's a lot of pressure to have him run the line against the likes of City. So that is the team that I would go for. So that is my predicted Chelsea 11 to face Man City at the Etihad this Saturday in the Premier League. Do you agree with this lineup or do you disagree? Let me know down below in the comments. I love having a conversation with you guys. Hopefully Enzo Maresca can lift this curse. We can get 3 points or even just a draw away at Man City in the Etihad, just as long as we don't lose and it's not embarrassing. And if you did watch this far to the end of the video, there'll be a thumbnail that pops up on the screen. So if you are a Chelsea fan who enjoys Chelsea content, make sure you click that thumbnail because you enjoy that video too.